Cigar Snapshot, Episode 7. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Cigar Snapshot podcast, a different cigar podcast with episodes made to fit into your busy schedule. Heard across the United States and now internationally in 11 countries, you can find us online at www.cigarsnapshot.com. Bill Barris here to once again share my thoughts with you about a cigar. Today's episode will feature a snapshot of a Diplomáticos No. 2. This episode of the Cigar Snapshot podcast is brought to you by TBS Cigars. If you need to find cigars online, look no further than TBS Cigars. In business for over 11 years, TBS Cigars always provides excellent prices and service. To order, go to tbscigars.com or give them a call at 724-657-0512. Be sure to tell them that you heard about them through the Cigar Snapshot podcast. I had some great feedback from episode 6, where I did a snapshot of the Joya de Nicaragua Cabineta No. 7. Cigar John in Wisconsin wrote and said that he really enjoys the Cabineta line, more so than the Antaño and Dark Corojo lines. He likes the milder components that are in the Cabineta line, and he appreciates the flavor profiles. And then Cigar Craig from Cigar Craig's blog at www.cigarcraig.com reports that he really enjoys the Cabineta line, especially the Lancero size. He has had the additional opportunity to actually visit the factory and watch them being rolled. And that's a unique opportunity that I'm sure is very interesting. And I've not had the Lancero size in the Cabineta, but it's something definitely to look forward to. So thanks for those emails, fellas. I also got a message from P.O. He sent a message and said that he liked that my reviews are not necessarily cigars that are the latest hype. Well, thanks, P.O. I appreciate it, but I do have a confession. Part of the reason for this is that by the time these cigars become available to me, well, they're pretty much already well known. I pretty much just pick cigars that are interesting to me and that are available to me at my preferred retailers. And then I had a couple of people contact me with their cigar mishaps. First, Dustin, he had a pretty good cigar mishap. He went to his local B&M and picked up a couple cigars, and his hands were full at the time, so he put them in his pocket. Well, of course, he got into his car and forgot that the cigars were there, and oops, he sat on them. Well, he said they were badly damaged, but appear smokable, so good luck with that, Dustin, and let us know how they come out. I also heard from Mike. And Mike sent me a message through the Stogie Chat cigar forum, so I'm going to read the message that he sent me. His message says, "So, I have a good one. I had an off-site meeting one morning, and I had about a 1-hour commute. So I figured on my way back to the office I would have a cigar. It was going to be in the car, so nothing special, just an Alec Bradley Tempest. Anyway, I just lit it up when my phone rang. For whatever reason, I had my Zycar cutter going across the top of a cup of coffee that I was hoping to enjoy with the cigar. So I put the cigar on the cutter. The back of that cutter doubled as a cigar rest, and he took the phone call. I was needed back at the meeting location, so without thinking, I made a U-turn. This caused my cigar cutter and my cigar to fall into my cup of coffee. This ruined both a good cigar and a good cup of coffee. Well, Mike, I hope at least your cutter survived that. So, there are a couple great mishaps there. Remember that I want to hear from you. I want to get your feedback. Tell me about your cigar mishaps. Suggest topics for future episodes, or just drop me a line to say hi. What the heck? Remember, you can check me out at www.cigarsnapshot.com. You can send emails and audio feedback files to feedback@cigarsnapshot.com. You can go to facebook.com/cigarsnapshot, like us and give us a comment there. You can also follow us on Twitter @cigarsnapshot for show updates. And then my personal account is @maytagman1. And also, please subscribe and rate us on iTunes. That would really help out a lot. And finally, don't forget we have a voicemail feedback line. You can call or leave a message at 209-432-3535. And now, on to the snapshot. The cigar I picked for today's snapshot was a Diplomáticos No. 2. The size is a 6 1/8 by 52, and the Vitola is a Pirámides. The wrapper, binder, and filler are all from Cuba, and the production date on this was March of 2008. A little bit of history. The Diplomáticos brand started production in 1966 as a lower-cost alternative to the Montecristo brand for the French market. In the original release, Diplomáticos were released in 5 sizes, and they were called the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. And these sizes corresponded to the Montecristo sizes numbers 1 through 5. In 1976, there was a number 6 and a number 7 released that were the same sizes as the Montecristo Especial No. 1 and No. 2. I double-checked all this information on CubanCigarWebsite.com, which is an excellent resource. And with the recent 2010 deletions to the Habanos catalog, the Diplomáticos No. 2 is the only size still in current production. And who knows how much longer that's going to be. According to the illustrated encyclopedia of Post-RevolutionHavanaCigars, the Diplomáticos No. 2 tastes like a milder version of a Montecristo No. 2. And on page 121 refers to the Diplomáticos as arguably the mildest torpedo in production. In pre-light, the wrapper was very, very light in color, almost to the point of having the appearance of a Connecticut shade wrapper. The wrapper was slightly rough in appearance, and there are a few small bumps underneath the surface of the wrapper. The cigar had a slight box press from being packed in a dress box since 2008. There is a very pleasant, dry, woodsy aroma that was made up of both cedar and hardwood notes in the mix in the pre-light. The foot exhibited a slightly more concentrated woody aroma with the addition of some spice and manure as well. The pre-light taste was mainly a refreshing straight tobacco flavors, along with some clove-like spice hints in the background. After I lit the cigar, it started off with a relatively mild profile with some really creamy notes. There are some strong hay flavors in the background, along with what I would best describe as a slight astringent quality at the very front of my palate. The draw was absolutely perfect, and the cigar produced nice, thick volumes of smoke. The ash was light to medium gray and was very, very solid. In the second third, the hay flavors that I found in the first third had kind of evolved into a grassiness. There was a slight spiciness at the forefront of the profile, but it was still very, very subtle. I also managed to detect what I would best describe as hints of well-done, though not burned, toast. As the second third progressed, I got some peppercorn flavors in the retrohale. And I'm not talking about the spicy black pepper notes that you can get in a cigar, but this is actually more of the actual peppercorn aroma and taste. A spicy component began to emerge in the final third of the cigar, and it actually intensified. This moved the grassy flavors into the background, along with the other flavors that I had noted before. This spicy characteristic was not overpowering in any way. It seemed like a natural direction for the flavor profile to go as this cigar progressed. Construction-wise, it did soften a little bit as this final third progressed, but it did not have an ill effect on the smokability of the cigar at all, and it didn't cause it to heat up. Overall, I would say that the Diplomáticos No. 2 is a very enjoyable cigar. Personally, I found it distinct enough from the Montecristo No. 2 that I would hesitate to refer to it as an alternative or derivation of the Montecristo brand, especially with the current production sample that I smoked. It has a solid medium-bodied profile with a pleasant evolution of flavors as the cigar progressed, from the initial light to burning my fingers finishing the final third. So that's my take on the Diplomáticos No. 2. The time is coming. September 16th and 17th in Paso Robles, California. Join Doc of StogieFresh.com for the premier West Coast cigar and wine event, Crush and Roll West 2011. For the third year in a row, cigar connoisseurs and wine enthusiasts will gather in Paso Robles, California for the place to be, Crush and Roll West. This celebration of premium cigars, premium wine, and the good life takes place September 16th and 17th, 2011, in the heart of the Central Coast wine country. Sure, you'll get to sample all the good stuff, but what you may not know is that you will also learn about what you're sampling from top industry experts. This two-day festival offers almost $400 in value for the low ticket price of $125. So what do you get for this? Well, a two-day cigar and wine festival, cigars and accessories from participating vendors, wines from Central Coast wineries, informative and fun seminars, live auctions and raffles, live music, and the chance to meet world-renowned cigar and wine industry experts. But wait, there's more. This year, Crush and Roll West is working with the Cigar Rights of America to offer you an incredible deal. Each attendee will receive a complimentary one-year membership or membership extension in the Cigar Rights of America. In addition, each attendee will receive an exclusive 10-pack of super premium cigars from the CRA with a retail value of $200. For more information, visit the event website at crushandrollwest.com or email Christina Fontecchio of the Boss Cigars at christina@crushandrollwest.com or give her a call at 805-474-1133. Be sure to let her know that you heard about Crush and Roll West on the Cigar Snapshot podcast. Don't miss it. I had a suggestion from Jimmy the Mum in New Jersey. He suggested that I do a segment on wrappers. Jimmy said that he thought it would be interesting to document how flavor profiles of a cigar change with different wrappers. I actually hosted such a study a while ago and had some interesting results. I'll have to find these results and create an episode around them, and if that generates enough interest, I may even try to recreate this study using Cigar Snapshot listeners as review participants. Thanks for the idea, Jimmy. What about the rest of you? Is this something that you'd be interested in hearing about too? I also wanted to take a moment and thank you for your continued support. You heard in the opening that I'm heard not only here in the United States, but also in 11 countries and counting. To be honest, it kind of trips me out a little bit that I have listeners in places like Finland, Peru, China, and even Guam. So please continue to tell people about the show, and please give me your feedback. I want to increase my listener interaction in future episodes, and I can't do that without your help. So thanks in advance. Now, before getting out of here, I just wanted to give a special thanks again to TBS Cigars for sponsoring this episode of the Cigar Snapshot podcast. Please be sure to check them out at tbscigars.com, and once again, let them know that I sent you, all right? All right, well, I think that'll just about do it for another episode of the Cigar Snapshot podcast. Thanks for listening, and please share your feedback with me via comment, email, or voicemail. And if you've smoked the Diplomaticos number 2, I want to hear what you thought about it. Alrighty, well, I'll catch you next time, and remember, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Let's just hope that that light isn't from an oncoming train. Catch you next time, and please remember to tip your waitresses. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Cigar Snapshot podcast. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or compliments, I'd like to hear from you. Leave a comment at cigarsnapshot.com. Send an email to feedback@cigarsnapshot.com. Check us out on facebook.com/cigarsnapshot. Like us and leave a comment. Or call and leave your comment on the Cigar Snapshot voicemail feedback line at 209-432-3535.